Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. So, yes, I'm a little bit sick today still. I've been sick forever, it seems like. But as I'm in the death throes of my super morbid obesity, I'm really close to the end. I feel like it's trying to lash back out and it's trying to do things. I'm at like the final battle of SMO. And I just thought, why not stare into the sun and look at a question that is probably going to disturb me and the answers that are going to. So we're going to go ahead and react to Luke Narwhal again. And this question of how people treat you differently after you've lost weight. So I just thought it would be fun to kind of look into the future or just get that perspective. But let's go ahead and dive in. That's enough of an intro.
Skinny people who used to be fat, do you feel that you're treated differently now after the weight loss? How so? Also, our Narwhal merch will be launching next Monday, just a heads up.
This video is 3
Watch
years
until
old.
the end to see our featured narwhals of the day, and be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more weight loss videos that help you stay on track. I've been fat my whole life, and I'm actually still fat, but I did lose weight. Now that I am 60 pounds lighter, people who see me regularly seem to be so much nicer and have been complimenting me a lot. I'm not getting mean comments from strangers anymore, but seem to have progressed to being invisible.
Oh my gosh, I have literally talked about this. The mid-fat curse. This person has reached mid-fat. I have gone through this, yes. Absolutely. I've talked about this to death on this channel. I feel like you guys are tired of me saying it. But I'm still the deaf and I'm still mid-fat. Unfortunately, I can't get past it. But I think only because of seasonal factors. So I should be okay as we go into spring and especially summer, which is kind of exciting but kind of scary because I don't think I'm going to be as invisible anymore. But that's so crazy. Let's listen to the rest.
People have been mean to me my whole life for being fat, so being complimented for my body really threw me for a loop. I felt sort of uncomfortable with all the attention. Sometimes I almost wish they'd go back to being mean, because at least that was familiar and I knew how to deal with it.
Wow. So I don't know. I don't get a lot of comments in my life about my weight, like other than online. I don't know if it's because I'm not like super shorty or anything. I also usually have stank face, a look of judgment, and overall bitchitude on my face when I'm out in public. So I feel like people just don't really say much because I don't know, maybe they're a little like edgy about me. So there is that. But I have not really ever gotten tons and tons of comments about my weight. I have gotten some, which I have covered on the channel when I was like mega big, which for me it was, high 300s, 375, like in that range. I did get some comments, but it wasn't anything with any kind of frequency. It was never every day. It's like I can count. I think it happened like 4 times. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really get that anymore. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. The mid-fat curse, it lives on. It's really important. The reason that I talk about it so much on this channel and in general is because I want really, really big people who are losing weight to understand that the mid-fat curse is real and the invisibility of it and all these things are real, because we're often sold the narrative that we lose weight and we just get more attention and we're more attractive and we're more this and we're more that. And it's not true. You actually can become less of all those things and just ignored during a mid-fat stage. So it's just important for people to know so they're not like tripping out, because there are subconscious things that might get a person to self-sabotage if they see that they're not being noticed anymore. It's a little jarring. It hit me last spring and I was like, what the heck? Anyways, let's continue.
I get a lot more negative attention, especially from women. Before, I was just the jolly fat friend that everyone invited out. But now, a lot of women view me as competition, and I
Wow.
get dirty looks all the time. I've had strangers look me up and down and scoff at me, and gotten more eye rolls than I can count. Last time I went to the beach, these women were talking bad about me the whole afternoon in another language which they mistakenly thought I didn't understand. I'm not a model or anything, and it always surprises me that women are so mean and catty to each other. I always hear about thin privilege, but honestly, people treated me a lot more nicely when I was fat.
Wow. That's crazy. So that is something that I have, I don't know where I'm going to fall on this because I don't know if that's more of like a woman thing or, or if it doesn't matter. As you guys know, because I'm such a feminine gay guy, I will, I can kind of be in a little bit in between categories. So I would feel like I would probably get some of that, maybe not from girls, but certainly from the gays, 100%. Um, but that's no new thing. I think, especially feminine gay men are just as catty as girls in a lot of ways. So I guess that's something I can look forward to. Um, I do wonder though. I wonder if you guys have had that happen to you. Please let me know. I think for me, I just want to prepare. I'm not expecting to get that far this year, but I think I might be able to get pretty far this year. So I just want to be prepared, or I just want to know. So let me know if anything like that happened to you guys.
Absolutely. Like it's literally 1,000% different. I was chubby in middle school. I was teased, I had little friends, fell into depression, and girls didn't even want to look at me. Confidence in game was low. Starting in high school, I got fit, and things gradually changed. Then, as I went into the real world and even into college, I became an entirely new persona in the eyes of those around me. I wouldn't change my life and how people treat me for the world now. It's absolutely amazing. If you're overweight and you are thinking about getting in shape so that you'll be treated differently and better, absolutely do it. But also know that your mind will tell you that you are fat for a long time.
These comments and stuff are so, like, I feel like if I was an actual FA and I was listening to this, I would be so triggered. But I'm not, so I'm not really triggered. I just think it's interesting how different of an experience that is for a man. He was just treated drastically better after losing weight. So I'll be really interested to see where it shakes out. I think it's going to be somewhere in between for me, honestly. I think it's going to be a lot of happiness, a lot of praise, but also a lot of salt. That's what I think. I think I'm going to get a little bit of everything. So I'll definitely, you guys know, I will document everything on here. So I'm just still preparing. Still kind of in the invisibility zone, for sure. Interesting.
Confidence is learned. It is not given just because you've lost the weight. Failure can and will still happen. But yes, life is way better now.
So I think it's interesting the whole you know that your mind will tell you that you are fat for a long time. So I don't know. I don't necessarily have that issue as much. I don't know if it's because I got through my weird serotonin thing last year, which I've talked a lot about that too. But I had my hormones shift a lot and I had like an internal change. So this year, I don't really feel like I don't identify with being fat very much. And I mean, I say I'm the Duff and all this stuff, but it's kind of a joke. And it's just because this is my Duffy winter. It's like my mid fat winter where it's just, I'm invisible, kind of thing. But I don't really think about how big I used to be, and I think there were certain moments over the past, few weeks where I was sick and all the stuff. I'm sorry I haven't been posting. It's been tough. It's losing weight in the winter is tough. It's very tough. But I was looking at my past and looking at things and like, I don't remember how big I was sometimes, or I don't think about how big I was. I don't consider it as much. And it's like, I should, both for like letting you guys know about it and also like so that I can remember how far I've come, because I think it's important. But I don't know if I'm going to struggle with that as much, but I will let you guys know if I do. It might be different when I'm like not fat anymore, like when I've officially changed categories. But, you know, I still don't, I don't know. I kind of tend to, I'm trying to just let go of things as it changes. So we'll see if that continues.
Definitely. In middle school, people called me piggy or fatty, and other bad things were common too. No girls wanted anything to do with me. Then I went from 5'1", 140 pounds to 6 feet, 140 pounds. I feel great about my body. The first time I felt like a girl was admiring me was amazing. People are way nicer to more attractive people because they want to be associated with them. It's a cruel and stupid reality. No, I don't.
Yes, I would say that's definitely a reality. I've talked about that on this channel. I've actually gotten some or I actually got a little bit of pushback from somebody on my channel where they were just like, no, like, people don't, I don't know. I think I said something like, when you look better, you can get away with treating somebody worse. And they were like, that's not true. Pretty people get bullied and stuff like that. But I disagree with that viewer. I don't agree. I think you can get away with it. Like, I've seen it too many times to count. But, I do think looks matter. I think it especially matters in terms of your industry. Like, as you guys know, I want to do YouTube for sure. I love it. And it matters. It hella matters. Like, YouTube, as far as image is concerned, I think it determines over half of your success, honestly. I do think that the content matters and you have to be able to keep people around, but your best advertisement is looking better. So I think it would definitely help my career to not be in this Duffy stage, not be where I'm at. But at the end of the day, there's benefits for sure of looking better. I'm very well aware of that. As you guys know, I talk a lot about in terms of dating life and I talk about in terms of YouTube. I think both of those things would drastically improve and be a lot easier if I was thinner because I would look better. So I think it's important to just not necessarily have like a super Pollyanna attitude about it and just be realistic. And I don't really cry about it. It's just one of those things where this is how the world works. This is how it is. And that's fine. We're either going to deal with it or we're going to try in vain to change something that has never changed over millennia. So yeah, that's kind of my take on that.
Cruel and stupid reality. No, I don't feel like I'm treated differently. I realized after I lost weight that your confidence in yourself makes the biggest impression on other people and how they treat you. I imagine many people who are overweight also lack a lot of self-confidence, which is why we as a society feel that skinny people will be treated better. We often see more confident skinny people than overweight people. Of course, this is all my own experience and other people will have different takes on the situation. I'm a white man, by the way, which I'm sure plays a factor for people.
So I would say that it depends. It depends on what metric you're looking at it. If it comes down to just like baseline levels of respect or basic stuff, I think that the effects of obesity are definitely overplayed. Sometimes I wonder, as somebody who has been mega big, I don't know how else to describe it, but super fat, I guess, if we're going to use that terminology. As somebody who has been super fat, comments do occur, but it's not that often. Like I said, I don't know if it's that I looked threatening in person. Who knows, right? I don't know. That could be a factor, but it doesn't seem to be that often. I think what tends to happen is a lot of fat people, they have isolated experiences, but they replay those isolated experiences in their heads over and over and over again. And I think we've seen this a lot with fat acceptance activists. where they will talk about the same experiences over and over, or, they'll remember or hold on to something that happened 17 years ago, It's a lot. I should probably do an episode where we talk about that, because it's a lot, in my opinion, especially when some of these FAs are in their 30s. It goes beyond being a lot, and it's kind of pathetic, honestly. I know that that's harsh, but when you're holding on to something that happened 17 years ago, like a fat shaming comment from 17 years ago, it's like, you kind of need to get a life. I know that that's harsh, but I'm just keeping it 100. So I think in that sense of like baseline respect, I don't think it's that bad. It's not in the United States, at least. Like, there's a lot of fat people here. It's not that fat phobic of a society in America. Like, it just isn't. I think if you're in a foreign country, it could be different. But as far as being in America, no, it's very normalized to be obese, which I don't think is a good thing. I don't think it should be normalized, but it is. In terms of other stuff, though, like I said, like image-based careers, so things like modeling, anything art, music, whatever, anything where you're a performer, or something like YouTube, or something like, anything else. I know it's graphic to say, but something like schmorn, if you guys know what I'm saying there. Like, anything that's more image focused like that, you're definitely going to have more of an issue if you're fat, 100%, because image is a part of the job. In terms of like dating as well, because how you look is important in a romantic sense. It just is. So those two categories, I would say absolutely. But as far as baseline respect and just being treated somewhat okay in society, I don't think it's going to be all that different. I just don't. That's my opinion. But I do suspect that other changes will occur. So, and like I said, I will talk to you guys. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I've never been thin. Like, as far as an adult, like, I was thin when I was 5 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I have nothing to go on, which is really weird. So I will let you guys know.
I'll try to keep it short, yes, but it's not all because of my body. It's more because of my, not to sound self-centered or whatever, confidence. It's built into my appearance. I've always heard that getting into fitness will change my personality for the better. I thought it was a cliche. It's not, at least for me. I really think I've changed. I'm more approachable now, and I don't feel like I'm being looked at negatively or even slightly in a weird manner. But it's really because of how my personality changed. I see the positivity that I want to see, and the negativity almost never outweighs the positivity. I hope you understand. I feel like it's hard to explain. It's something that just happened.
Yeah, so on this channel, we talk a lot about hypothyroidism, especially within obesity. It sounds like this person became less hypo. They probably got out of the haze. As the weight was gone, then they don't have this depression that comes with hypothyroidism. They don't have these weird thoughts about other people that are not really on point. I've had some of these changes myself. They're not complete, but they've vastly improved, since I've been taking care of my thyroid health and really making sure that I cherish it. I've had a lot of changes in how I view other people. I fight with people drastically less. Like, I have a lot less conflict in my life. And I think that a lot of that stuff definitely has to do with how you're treated. If you're not constantly picking fights with everybody all the time, or making extreme black and white statements, or, doing things that a lot of FAs do, basically, then it definitely has a huge effect on how people treat you. And I think a lot of times fat acceptance people, they view confidence as being nasty. And it's not actually the same. Like, they're actually two separate things. But I get it. When I was going through a hormonal shift last year, I had a time of extreme unconfidence. And it was really difficult in the summer. I had zero confidence. And so I understand. And it had to kind of like build back up towards the fall. And like now, I'm feeling better. But it's like, it was a struggle. I think a lot of people feel that way during weight loss. They don't want to deal with it. And they just start eating again. But I didn't. I pushed through. So there's definitely something to this comment, is what I'm trying to say. Let's continue.
I wasn't fat. Since I'm tiny, a little weight can look like a lot on my body, so even though I weighed 120 pounds, people thought I looked much bigger than that. However, when I lost that weight and became skinny, people definitely started treating me differently. I get noticed more, people call me pretty and beautiful, no one ever did, people started taking advice from me, which sounds weird.
That's something that I've heard from my best friend who lost weight. People take you more seriously and they listen to your opinions on things more, which is really, really, really interesting. And I'll definitely be interested in seeing how that works on my personal channel as I've lost weight. But maybe even here too, But here we just really talk about weight and stuff like that. But I don't know if I'll see it as much here. But it's just interesting that that's something that people have said. I've heard that one a lot. I think people just take you more seriously when you're thinner. I think people, they feel like you know more of what you're talking about, which is interesting. But I think there's some kind of evolutionary thing with that. That's my opinion. Yeah, I suddenly became more of an authority on things. Yeah, it's interesting.
But I suddenly became more of an authority on certain things. People are all around nicer to me. I've caught more grief from family than what I ever had. I lost over 50 pounds last year. My in-laws told my wife to make me stop losing weight. They really thought I was developing an ED. Truth be told, I just started running and cutting out useless calories. I'm at a healthy weight and my doctor is very happy with my hard work. The craziness eventually died down. I even posted a before and after picture on my Facebook, and that shut everyone up.
So I've talked a lot about how family dynamics can really sabotage weight loss. I actually want to do a stream with somebody about sabotage, which I might do that. But sabotage is huge. It's very, very, very big. And I think family members are usually the most egregious offenders. And I think it's because, I don't know if it's like they're threatened or if there's some kind of like, they feel like you're leaving the family, you're abandoning the family tradition of being fat or something. I don't think it's logical, but it's there. But it sounds weird to me because as a gay person, it almost sounds like he had like a coming out experience for having lost weight, which is very bizarre. But that's literally what it sounded like to me. I don't know if that'll happen to me, but if it does, look, I may be femme and I may be, trying to be nicer and more peaceful and stuff, but I have no issue fighting with people at all. So if somebody in my life wants to come at me for having lost weight, let's go, period. Like, I know that's bad to say, but I do not give a flying F at all. We'll get into a shouting match. Let's go for it. Maybe I'll film it and put it on YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible. But I'm just saying, I'm not like the most conflict averse person. I'm just not. Even though I'm being better and like more peaceful and stuff, and I'm so happy that I'm doing that, I'm not conflict averse, I promise.
People don't treat me differently per se, but since the weight loss has been pretty recent, people tell me I look great and skinny all the time now. It's been a huge boost for my confidence, but it's funny how suddenly the compliments started. I've lost 60 pounds, so that obviously took some time, but the compliments and realization of my weight loss by others seemed to happen right at the 50 to 55 pound mark. All in all, my quality of life has improved 100-fold, and I couldn't be more happy that I finally lost the weight.
Yeah, I think other people don't perceive weight loss in others until I feel like until you get towards around that stage. Like, unless if you're like really, kind of small anyways, and then you lose like 30 pounds and it looks really dramatic, people usually don't notice it. But I actually did. I had somebody at the gym notice that I had lost about 50 pounds, almost to the dot, which was interesting last, I guess, fall, like around October. And that was interesting because, like I had been going for 6 months at that time. I haven't returned yet. I'm gonna return in the spring. I'm like, It's tough, you guys. Like, it really is. But I'm doing the deficit and everything, but it's tough right now. It's really hard. Um, but anyways, so I was like, I I was surprised that he noticed, because you kind of see people at the gym, all the time. And so he did tell me, he was like, "You've lost about 50 pounds, haven't you?" He was an older gentleman. And I was like, "Yeah, I have." And he was like, "Congrats, congratulations." And that was kind of cool. So that was kind of cool. So I feel like there is something about that number where people notice, interestingly enough, I had the same experience. That's interesting.
I went on the opposite direction. I used to be really fit, running and lifting weights 6 days a week, and then I got into a minor depression and gained 50 pounds. I felt how people were changing the ways they treat me. Before, I'd get a lot of smiles and just a welcoming vibe from strangers and colleagues. But after I gained weight, I felt change in the whole vibe, and coworkers who used to invite me to parties and hangouts would stop. Not to mention, flirting from girls completely stopped as well. Now I'm trying to.
The thing that's crazy is when I was in high school, I was a psycho introvert. Not literally psycho, but I was just very, very introverted. And I literally used to fear losing weight because I knew that if I was thinner, people would ask me to go to parties and they'd ask me to do things that I didn't want to do. And for some reason in my 16-year-old brain, I couldn't just think of saying no. I felt like I would have to go. And it like horrified me, like almost to the point of like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like I'd almost have nightmares about it. Like that's how badly I didn't want it to happen. So that's really funny that he just proved me right. So 16-year-old Alex was on point a little bit. The logic wasn't there. At this age, I just say, "No, thank you. No." My favorite word, "No. I don't want to go. No, I'm not really interested. No, I don't want to meet new people today. No." It's easy. But as a 16-year-old, that was just impossible because being an introvert was not cool. And so I need to just stay fat so that they won't ask me. But I guess it worked. I guess I was right.
Back in shape and just motivating myself to be fit again. The biggest issue I had was once I gained weight, I couldn't fit into my old clothing, so my confidence went down a lot. I've lost about 20 pounds and I still haven't recovered my full confidence yet. When you're obese, you can really tell who cares about appearance and who truly sees someone else's inner self. Some people will just dismiss you and brush you off just because of your appearance, and I think that hurts the most.
I can understand it being hurtful. I don't know. It's an interesting philosophical discussion. Like, I feel like I should make a video just on this in general. Like I said, I judge less in terms of dating or like career stuff, but I think with friendships, I do kind of judge a little bit. Like, if you're like really obsessed with somebody's looks, I think that that's kind of weird. I don't think that's appropriate in every single connotation, But I don't know. I mean, maybe people have been like, ugh, because I'm fat. I don't know. I don't care. I've literally just told you guys how introverted I am, how introverted I was. I'm just like, one less person, one less problem, period. I know that's terrible to say, but that's kind of how it feels as an introvert sometimes. So I don't know if that's happened to me, but also like it doesn't bother me if it did. Does that make sense? Like, and don't feel bad. Like, I'm totally cool with you guys that message me on Instagram or anything like that. Like, I'm not like antisocial, but I'm just saying it doesn't bother me. I'll put it to you that way, okay? Like, I'm not antisocial. I'm totally cool with talking and chatting and stuff, and like I'm social as an introvert. I am. I have a lot of friends and that kind of thing. But it doesn't bother me if somebody didn't want to be my friend. That's what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. That's just me. I realize the extrovert girlies and guys out there, you guys are probably horrified. Oh no, like some people won't want to talk to me if I'm fat. Totally valid. It's just not my experience at all.
For the record, I am still not skinny, though I am soft in a nice way and not what most people would actually consider fat. However, I have noticed people do treat me differently. My family is the biggest place I noticed it. My grandparents and aunts and uncles used to make comments about what I would eat and would give me an allowance if I lost weight they were satisfied with. It was demeaning. I have cousins that are all very thin, and even though I have never been morbidly obese, I was always bigger than them and was treated differently because no one was intelligent enough to realize that just because I wasn't real thin didn't mean I wasn't still a human being. Another place I noticed it was with dating. As I lost weight, I've had access to better clothing options as such and am more visually appealing. I started doing my makeup because I felt better about myself. I'm sure the actual weight loss helped, but the boost that losing some weight gave me allowed me the strength to improve in other areas, and it's paid off. I've had many sexual partners in short relationships, and I've been in a serious and committed relationship for nearly 2 years now. Another place I noticed it was shocking in a bad way. Body positive communities on the internet gave me a lot of crap for losing weight. Communities I had friends in that had once supported me treated me like a traitor to their cause for wanting to improve myself for myself. They were offended that I would dare to lose weight to conform when that wasn't the case at all. I was at high risk for diabetes and would prefer to do what I can to avoid that. I found a lot of hostility in those communities and felt like I was not allowed to talk about my weight loss online because people would get upset with me and bring me down and accuse me of trying to make other people feel.
Yeah, so this is where you guys come in. This is where we come in. We need this to change. Okay, this is what I advocate for a lot on this channel. This stuff has to change. And I think there's probably some improvement from 3 years ago for sure, which is amazing. But we need to change this because we are the online world, right? And then as far as families and stuff, it's so big. I'm definitely going to have to do some topics and videos about family because they can be such a huge barrier to weight loss and just, oh gosh, it's such a problem. It's not good. It's hard. And it's hard, like, especially if you have to be like the first one to make a change and you're kind of spearheading that. It's really, really difficult. And that needs to be talked about 100%. But yeah, I mean, this person has said a lot of stuff that's super interesting, super deep. I really appreciate this person's comment because I feel like some of this may happen to me. That would be interesting.
Bad. It was horrific, and I could never condone that behavior at all. I no longer have support from many people I consider friends because I've chosen to alter my appearance and health for factors that are personal to me. I guess as a not obese person, most people just treat you better. You don't get rude comments or dehumanizing treatment. Once I went to Victoria's Secret when I was still heavy, and they were all over my skinny cousin, helping her and fitting her, and they wouldn't even speak to me. It was humiliating. That doesn't happen anymore.
I think there's just a lot, I think especially for women, there's like a lot more opportunities for your body to be commented on. Like, as you guys know, like I may be, super gay or whatever, but I would never be going to Victoria's Secret to try to like find underwear or something. Like that would never happen in my whole life. So I think that there's some elements where like I just don't have as many opportunities for these comments to happen because I'm not interested in certain things like that. So I think that that's valid, I don't know. I guess it's easier to be fat if you're introverted. That's probably the overall statement here that I'm finding out.
It's nice. For me, people treat me differently once they found out I lost my weight by having bariatric surgery. I understand that there is a consensus among the general population that surgery is the easy way out when it comes to losing weight. For me, I knew it would be the only way I would be able to successfully and consistently lose and keep off the weight. My relationship with food is a complicated one due to the fact that I used it as a crutch to deal with a very bad father, and without the restriction of surgery, I know there is no way I would be able to stop myself from engorging on In-N-Out or secretly eating a tub of ice cream. I have worked my butt off, literally, to lose 108 pounds so far, and I'm working on losing more. By no means has it been easy, but it is definitely worth it. Only a few people know that I had surgery because of the judgment I've gotten for it. Those who don't know have complimented me on the loss, and I have only gotten negative or passive-aggressive comments from those who do.
It is interesting how there's kind of a stigma with it. I don't necessarily stigmatize it. I just think it's like a very last resort, You know, that's kind of my stance on a lot of like the medical interventions. So things like Ozempic or surgery. I'm not like a hater or anything, especially if somebody's like 500 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think when you get to the point where you just got to get the weight off or you're going to die, like as fast as possible, I think it makes sense. You know, I'm not going to be like, no, you know, when somebody could literally die tomorrow. You get what I'm saying? So I think it's important to like measure risk assessment and what is more risky for you. Like if it were to take longer to lose weight or if it were this or that, you know what I'm saying? I don't tend to judge in that sense. I just don't, because people get in very difficult situations. I understand how difficult super morbid obesity is. I understand. And I understand how desperate of a situation it can be. You know, I myself, I'm not interested in surgery or medical interventions for a lot of different reasons, which maybe I should do a video about why I don't want it for myself. But yeah, you know, um, I totally understand if somebody needs to. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my view. I don't think it's the only way to lose weight. I think that there are other ways. I talk a lot about the thyroid protocol, for example. That's kind of a different way. We talk about it on a podcast I did with my friend Lisa, and we talk about like other ways of doing it. But I think at the end of the day, like, I just care that you're alive, you know? That's kind of my stance. I just care that you're alive, that you're surviving, that you're getting it under control. That's what I care about. And I'm not a purist like that. So I don't understand why people would be judging. I don't see surgery as an easy way out. I don't think there is an easy way out. I don't think that that's what a lot of thin people understand. But there, when you're very, very, very huge, there is no easy way out. It's difficult. And it's very difficult. Trust me. So I do not think it's the easy way out at all. I would never say that. Ever. Okay, let's continue.
And that brings us
Oh,
to our
that's
featured
it.
narwhals of the day.
So yeah, super interesting topic, super interesting conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I just needed something where I could like get back in the swing. I feel like I've been gone for a long time. I promise you guys, I'm doing well on the diet. I may be like, oh gosh, struggling in this winter. This winter is like feeling horrible and like really not it. Um, but I'm really close to my lowest from October. I'm currently at about 304. And so I'm really close to my lowest, which was 299 in October, at the end of October. And I'm also really close to no longer being super morbidly obese. I'm so close, you guys. I'm also really close to getting down a size in clothing. I'm so close. So I'm like, I feel like this time in this winter, it is like specifically driving me nuts because it's going so slow. Like, especially recently, like in the past week, like my weight has just totally stagnated. I'm like bloated and moony and this and that. And oh gosh, it's just awful. But I'm just like, I'm going to just keep on trucking. I'm not going to, you know, I'm just going to keep going. I've even been hungry the past 2 days. February is brutal. Like when people say to do the New Year's resolution in January, they are not thinking about February. February is really hard, like in terms of a deficit and like thyroid wise. February feels really difficult. It always has, like every year. And I get hungrier in February, and I have been, but I'm literally white knuckling it. I'm like, no, this year I can do it because I'm better. But yeah, it's tough. So I have had to focus more on like the deficit rather than posting videos. But I so appreciate you guys for understanding. And obviously, I want to come back and everything. I always do. I'm telling you guys, if I'm not posting, it's probably because I feel ill or because I'm really struggling with the deficit. And I have to like put all my energy into that because to me, the most important thing is to just lose the weight publicly, show you guys it's being done, and that kind of stuff. That really matters to me. So sometimes, it's tricky. I'm hoping that in this next year, like I won't have to step away as often. But yeah, losing weight in the winter, it's brutal. I made a whole like audio where I bitched about it. That was my last video. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoy this. I'll talk soon. Thank you if you stayed till the end as well for my little update. But thank you guys so much. I will see you guys again soon. Have a good day.